Do you remember playing Myst as a kid?
I do. I also remember looking up all of the guides.
What? They had the internet back then?
Yeah, and absolutely, I did not complete Myst without it.
Well, unfortunately, I never actually completed Myst because I didn't have the internet.
My dad loved Myst. I remember he had a notebook filled with notes so that he could complete the game. It was a paper spiral notebook with just hundreds of handwritten notes so that he could get through the whole game.
That sounds awesome.
I have never had that much attention to a game, ever.
So this is the spiritual successor to Myst. Hey guys, this is Crypto Spook.
And this is Moriarty.
And I'm pretty sure this game is made by at least one of the same people that was involved with Myst.
So it's a walk-around puzzle game.
Yes. It is beautiful. The game itself is absolutely gorgeous, with one exception, and that is the terrain. No, the backgrounds were actually really nice. The problem was the grass and stuff like that. It had this really weird, like, glitchiness to it. Like, the vertices of them weren't quite accurate, and, like, you could see little jags on them and stuff. Once I turned that down to low, it became much prettier. And I had a really good time playing the game and trying to figure out all the puzzles. And believe me, you will spend a lot of time figuring out the puzzles.
See, that's weird to me because you hate puzzle games, yet Myst is like your all-time favorite game. It's just super, super disconnected for me. Because, like, I invite you to play a puzzle game, and you're like, I don't like puzzle games.
Well, I probably like Myst so much because I never actually got to finish the game. But, I mean, keep in mind I had to share that computer with all of my siblings and stuff, you know? This game does have one significant issue, and I think that's the fact that it was originally developed for the Oculus. That being the case, for some reason, the push to walk, the D-pad locomotion in this game is so slow. It's like actual walking speed.
It actually looks slower than walking speed.
It's a shamble. You know, you're shambling along. I mean, if there was anything we were going to change about it, it would absolutely be the locomotion speed. And even when you're teleporting, they limit the amount of teleports you can do in a row. So you're going the same speed regardless. It just made me really frustrated when I was trying to get somewhere, and my guy's just taking a I got a bad hip stroll across the park.
This is painfully slow.
It was painfully slow to play.
I imagine that this is a we don't want people to get sick kind of thing going on.
As I said, it was originally developed for the Oculus, so I'm sure that's exactly the case.
Well, if you're in an Oculus, you're going to be sitting down and you're going to be using a controller to move around. So I guess I get it. But at the same time, man, like, this is the Vive.
It's an up and atom gaming system.
Really, especially when you're playing something like Cyber Threat the day before and you're, flying through a cityscape at hundreds of miles an hour, and then you load this up and you can barely move.
Maybe they were trying to pad their gameplay time.
That's entirely possible. Look, we don't want anyone to... Oh, hey, that's pretty good.
Right? It looks cool, doesn't it?
How did it look in VR? Could you move and see different parts of it?
No. It was very obviously a two-dimensional image, but it looked really neat. It was a very interesting effect.
That is interesting. I've never seen that in a VR game before.
And they do it in quite a few different ways throughout the game. As you progress, there are different things that are explained to you through the use of these little floating rock information systems where you go up and push a button and then a little garbled message pops up of a two-dimensional guy explaining things to you. And it's just, I really liked it. It really immersed me in the game, you know?
I don't think I've seen FMV in VR before. So, FMVR?
Is that what that's called? Full motion video?
Full motion video. So, FMVR, full motion virtual reality.
Full motion video virtual reality. I like it.
FMVR.
FMVR.
Now we're talking about Survivor. So, it's a cool looking game. You liked it a lot. Is it for everybody?
I would say it is for everybody. Maybe wait until they increase the locomotion speed a smidge, because it's a little painful to navigate from one side of the level to the other, because it takes quite a while. And you do have to do quite a bit of exploring in this game, so that means maybe you just took a 10-minute shamble and you're like, well, this is a dead end, and now you gotta walk all the way back.
Well, that's unfortunate. It's $30. Is it worth $30?
I paid $30 for it, and I really do want to go back and complete the game because I had fun.
So you're saying it's worth $30?
You know what? Let me rephrase that. If they patch some stuff, this game could absolutely be worth $30.
Namely, you would like to see them patch the movement speed.
Yeah, and depending on how many more puzzles there are in the game, because I can't imagine there would be. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot. There's a lot of different stuff crammed in here, and I'm sure there's lots of stuff I haven't even accessed yet. So while I never beat Myst, I did beat Shivers, I believe. And Shivers and Myst kind of went hand in hand, but Shivers was a little spookier. It was set in a museum. Maybe that's why I actually got that one beaten.
I feel like if you played Myst and Shivers, you were a fan of one or the other, but not both.
Really? I liked both. I think I really just liked the imagery in Myst.
I enjoyed Shivers a lot because you could actually move around, as opposed to Myst where you kind of clicked and it would move you. And then you had to click to turn. Like, it wasn't actually movement. It was click to go down this path or click to go down that path. It was essentially a text-based story with an image in front of it. Whereas Shivers, you could move more.
That's when JPEGs first came out. Check out these fancy JPEGs, y'all.
Yeah, and I mean, if anything, it did have animation in it, so it wasn't like just a static JPEG. But still, essentially, it was just pictures. And you would click on the picture, and it would take you to another picture. And if you wanted to turn, you would click on a turn button, which would take you to a different picture.
As you can see, we have progressed quite a ways from that.
Quite a bit. But I do still, to this day, remember seeing the characters talking to you in the game in their FMV cutouts, sitting at the desk writing stuff in books and things like that. So I still remember that. It's definitely a memorable game. If you played Myst years and years and years ago, you're probably thinking of exactly what I'm thinking of. So, and Shivers, on the other hand, I can't actually remember any moment from that, but I do remember the game fondly. So I don't know.
I remember that there's ghosts that take your life slowly if you go to the wrong parts of the museum.
And things that would jump out at you.
Yeah, it was a little scary. It was a little bit scary.
This, I don't know. Because it has the FMV in it, it actually kind of reminds me of the Tex Murphy games, which would have FMV characters that showed up occasionally.
That guy kind of looked like he could have been a Tex Murphy.
Altogether, all of the gameplay elements make it a VR adventure game, and I don't know that I've played a whole lot of VR adventure games.
And the story, from what I heard of it, is quite compelling. So I would say the atmosphere is excellent, the audio was great, the visuals were good, the story was good, if I didn't already mention that, and my only complaint would be the locomotion.
Which is painfully slow.
Painfully slow, no matter which method. Although, I'll give it to them that they did at least have more than one method.
So there you go, guys. That's Obduction. Have you tried it out? Does it remind you of Myst, Shivers, maybe Tex Murphy? Does it remind you of something else that we didn't even mention because, hey, we don't care what you think?
I do.
Crypto cares, but we, as a conglomeration, for that's what truly we are, we don't care. We have to be
Crypto spook is on your side.
Oh, man, really? If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, don't forget to subscribe. We've moved all of our giveaways over to Juniper. You can find the link down below. Go there. You can win games. We're adding new ones every time we get a new game. We have over 40 games ready to go up on there, but obviously they show up a little slowly, so you'll start seeing them over the next several weeks. Be sure to check in there. And as always,
we'll see you on the next one.